Why are cherry blossoms so fascinating? Every spring, millions of people from around the world flock to famous parks and gardens to admire the breathtaking beauty of cherry blossoms in full bloom. But why do these flowers have such a powerful allure? What makes them a cultural symbol, not only in Japan but also in many other countries, especially the United States? Cherry blossoms are more than just beautiful flowers. They carry deep historical and symbolic meanings. With their delicate pink hue and short-lived blossoms, they represent the fragility of life, an important philosophy in Japanese culture. In the past, cherry blossoms were closely associated with the samurai spirit, brave warriors who were ready to sacrifice their lives in an instant, but lived with honor and glory. Interestingly, the significance of cherry blossoms extends beyond Japan. In 1912, the Japanese government gifted the United States over 3,000 cherry trees as a symbol of friendship. Since then, Washington, D.C. has hosted the annual National Cherry Blossom Festival, attracting millions of visitors each year. So are cherry blossoms merely a scenic delight, or do they carry a deeper message about life and human connection? Let's explore in this video. The history of cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms have a long history and are deeply rooted in East Asian culture, particularly in Japan. While there are no exact records of when these flowers first appeared, they have been mentioned in ancient Japanese texts, such as the Kojiki, records of ancient matters, from the 8th century. Initially, cherry trees grew naturally in forests and mountainous regions, but over time, people began planting them in gardens, temples, and parks to appreciate their unique beauty. There are over 200 species of cherry blossoms worldwide, but the most common variety is Somei Yoshino. This particular species is remarkable because when it blooms, it forms dazzling pink canopies that nearly cover the sky without any leaves. Another fascinating fact is that cherry blossoms have an incredibly short lifespan, lasting only 1 to 2 weeks before their petals begin to fall like a gentle pink shower. This fleeting beauty embodies the Japanese concept of impermanence, mujo, reminding people that life is short and should be lived to the fullest. Beyond Japan, cherry blossoms can also be found in other countries, including South Korea, China, Europe, and North America. However, most of the cherry blossoms seen in the US today are not native species. Instead, they came from a historic gift. In 1912, Japan sent over 3,000 cherry trees to the US as a gesture of goodwill. These trees were planted along the tidal basin in Washington, D.C., and quickly became a cultural icon. Since then, every spring, the National Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. has attracted millions of visitors from all over the world. But what is it about this small flower that has such a profound impact? The symbolism of cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are not just beautiful flowers, they hold deep symbolic meanings in Japanese culture. One of the most significant philosophies they represent is mono no aware, the awareness of impermanence and the fleeting beauty of life. Cherry blossoms bloom vibrantly, but last only about 1 to 2 weeks before their petals begin to fall, creating a breathtaking yet bittersweet scene. This is much like human life. Although short, it can shine brightly and leave a lasting impression. Additionally, in Japanese history, cherry blossoms were closely linked to the samurai spirit. Samurai warriors believed that their lives were like cherry blossoms, short yet honorable. A true samurai did not fear death. Instead, they lived with integrity and were ready to sacrifice themselves at any moment for their ideals. As a result, cherry blossoms became a symbol of courage, honor, and nobility within the Bushido, way of the warrior, ethos. Beyond that, cherry blossoms also symbolize new beginnings. In Japan, they bloom around late March to early April, coinciding with the start of the new academic year and the financial year. Because of this, many Japanese people see cherry blossoms as a representation of fresh opportunities, new starts in life, and personal growth. For the Japanese, cherry blossoms are not just flowers, they are a part of the national soul. Every year, millions of people participate in hanami, a centuries-old tradition of flower viewing. Families and friends gather under cherry trees to enjoy food, drinks, and conversations while celebrating the beauty of spring. So do you think cherry blossoms are just a beautiful sight, or do they carry a profound message about life and humanity? Cherry blossoms and their connection to the US. Cherry blossoms are not only significant to Japan, but also hold a deep connection to the United States. But how did this flower become such an important symbol in a country thousands of miles away from Japan? The story began in the early 20th century when the Japanese government decided to gift the US over 3,000 cherry trees in 1912 as a symbol of friendship between the two nations. These trees were planted around the tidal basin in Washington, D.C., and quickly became a defining feature of the city. This gift not only strengthened diplomatic relations between the two countries, but also allowed Americans to experience a piece of Japanese culture in their own homeland. However, the story was not entirely smooth. Few people know that before the official gift, Japan had sent an earlier batch of cherry trees in 1910, but they were found to be infested with pests and had to be destroyed. Undeterred, Japan carefully cultivated a new batch of trees with strict quality control, ultimately succeeding with the 1912 gift. Today, every spring, Washington, D.C. hosts the National Cherry Blossom Festival to commemorate this historical event. The festival lasts about 4 weeks and draws millions of visitors from around the world. During the festival, people can participate in cultural activities such as parades, art performances, Japanese film screenings, and of course, leisurely walks beneath thousands of blooming cherry trees. Beyond Washington, D.C., many other U.S. cities, including San Francisco, New York, and Philadelphia, have beautiful cherry blossom parks. This shows that while cherry blossoms originated in Japan, they have become an integral part of American culture, a symbol of friendship, connection, and the beauty of nature. Fascinating facts about cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are not only beautiful, but also full of interesting facts that many people may not know. One surprising fact is that cherry blossoms have no fragrance. Typically, flowers attract bees and butterflies with their sweet scents, but cherry blossoms rely on their vibrant colors to lure pollinators instead. This makes them unique compared to many other flowers. Additionally, not all cherry blossoms are pink. In fact, they come in various shades, from pure white and pale pink to deep pink and even light yellow. Some cherry blossom varieties even change color over time. For example, some flowers bloom white and gradually turn pink before falling. Another intriguing aspect of cherry blossoms is their remarkable synchronicity. When spring arrives, cherry trees in the same area often bloom almost simultaneously, creating a spectacular sight. This occurs because they are highly sensitive to temperature and sunlight. When conditions are just right, the flowers seem to wake up together, transforming parks and streets into a breathtaking sea of pink in just a few days. Lastly, few people know that cherry blossoms are also used in Japanese cuisine. Their petals and leaves are salted and used to make Sakura mochi, Sakura tea, and even Sakura sake. They have a slightly bitter taste, but add a unique flavor to traditional Japanese dishes. So now that you know more about cherry blossoms, what do you think? Would you simply admire their beauty, or would you reflect on the deeper meanings they hold? And now, I have a question for you. If you only had 1 to 2 weeks to live your life to the fullest, what would you do? If you had the chance to attend the Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. or Japan, which would you choose? Leave a comment and let's discuss. If you love exploring why questions like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.